Window World is proud to present Kevin Keatsman Has Issues. Simply the best for less at windowskansascity.com.
Okay, I've never started a podcast this way, so indulge me for just a moment. I don't want this to sound like some sort of an ad right at the start of the podcast, but I got an email yesterday from our friends at ticketsforless.com, and they're doing something before the weekend. And again, I don't know when everybody listens to the podcast. This is the Friday podcast, but you just probably have hours to do this if you're listening on Friday. Tickets for Less is offering a special to KKHI listeners for Chiefs-Broncos tickets next weekend. Okay, this is next weekend. 11% off your entire purchase, no matter what you get. You can rent a suite, club-level seats, the cheapest seat in the upper corner, a parking pass, whatever. It is 11% off on their flash sale. It's a 24-hour flash sale, and it's good only through Friday. It will not last the weekend. There is a different promo code. It's KKHI. You must add to the promo code the numeral 11 and the word off. So this is like the Menards 11% sale, right? Save 11% on everything from garden tools to appliances. Tickets for Less. Chiefs, Broncos tickets only, not everything on the site. 11% off any ticket, anything Chiefs, Broncos. 11% off. KKHI 11 off is the promo code. KKHI 11 off. An easier way to do it sometimes is you just call them. 913-685-3322. You will want to do this on Friday if you're looking to go to the Chiefs and Broncos next week on Thursday night at Arrowhead Stadium. That's Thursday night football for the Chiefs and Broncos. Who doesn't like beating the Broncos? Who doesn't like that? We'll get to the Broncos and the Chiefs and all the good football stuff in just a couple of moments, but I want to start on this border wall story with Joe Biden and the flip-flopping Democrats now saying they're building a 20-mile wall, which isn't much, but clearly they're going to take other actions. They've got a problem on their hands. And the Democrats, this is always so important when you see what the Democrats are doing. Remember that everything that they do is about votes, always. So the first 2.5 years of Biden's presidency, it's about votes letting all these people in. It doesn't matter if there's crime. It doesn't matter if the cities are overrun. None of this stuff matters, okay? Eventually, these people will have children, and they believe it will be votes for Democrats, and they will overrun this country with people from socialist countries or whatever that come get free stuff from Democrats, a handout from Joe Biden. No, it was the Democrats that brought us here and gave us a cell phone and let us stay at the Hampton Inn for a few weeks while we got our feet under us. And I'm talking about the law-abiding ones, the good people. They'll remember that the Democrats let them in and took care of them, and they believe that will translate into votes. So everything related to this story is votes, and it's nothing more. You may also remember on this podcast 2 years ago when this first started that I said, Joe Biden's going to flip-flop on this, and he's going to flip-flop on cops, on crime. What we're seeing happen when we get within a year of the election, he will get tough on the border and tough on crime. And that's about getting votes in the near term. So they take this big chunk of the Biden presidency and make it about long-term, playing the long game as Democrats do, to get votes way down the road. And now they're shifting to campaign mode to win the next election by appearing to be tough on the border. I'm promising you something is coming in the next few months where they will appear to be tough on crime and supporting the police and the police unions and all this. And it's up to the American voters to remember that the actions versus the words of the final months leading up to an election are two different things. I don't think they're going to do anything meaningful at the border. I think they're going to appear to be doing something meaningful. And they're so dishonest now that it's such a fraud. There's like, well, the people that elect us in don't pay attention anyway. So when you're asking us questions about flip-flopping and changing all our stories and all these things that we're doing, it doesn't matter anymore. It used to be a real curse or a sin for a politician to flip-flop in front of an election. Now the Democrats just do it, and they say, well, the voters are too stupid to notice or care. By the way, they don't really care. They'll just say, they do this 9 months from now, voters will be saying, well, they're taking care of it. They built more border wall. They're doing their best. They're doing their best because they're Democrats, and, they do their best. It's what they do. But what happened on the way to where they are now, because I think it got sped up. I think this is a little early. I would have expected this after the first of the year. There's still good weather at the southern border. Let them keep coming in until it gets colder. It will slow down in the winter naturally. There wasn't probably a whole lot of reason to do this. There's two reasons they're doing it. One, we saw this number of 570 some people that they've captured that are either murderers in other countries or they're on terror watch lists. And if those are the ones we caught, how many are running around in our country? 2, 3, 4, 5,000 murderers and terrorists running around. So they know they've got a problem on their hand, and they know that problem will probably metastasize, to use a medical term, right? Or the term we talk about with cancer. It will just grow and get worse over the next year because these people will do what they did in the other countries. They will hurt people. There will be rapes. There will be murders. There could be a terror attack. There could be real danger right now. What they could be keeping from us on this border thing that they're doing is terrorists are getting in, and we have real info that there's terror cells in the United States getting ready to do something really, really bad. That's likely happening. If you're a terrorist in the Middle East, why wouldn't you walk through the southern border and come here? It's just a simple question. Why wouldn't you do it? If they're not stopping anybody, they're not catching anybody, you want to come here and start a cell, you've had a couple of years now to get this thing running. The other one is even worse, because if they are acting on behalf of our safety because they screwed up, I'll at least take the effort. I don't expect Democrats to ever execute a plan and really make us safe and secure, because it's not their game. Their game is getting votes and doing meaningless things, meaningless social issues that don't protect us. They don't build our economy. They don't really do anything meaningful for Americans. They're these little fringe issues that wacko one-issue voters vote on. You know what these issues are. They are abortion. They are sexual identity. They're a whole bunch of skin color sometimes. Religion. Okay, there's a whole bunch of things that I'm just voting solely on this. If you're an atheist, you know which party you're in. If you hate Christians, you know which party you're in. It's a pretty simple deal. So this has really touched a nerve. We saw 600 people yesterday in Chicago, in the inner city of Chicago, gather up with their representatives and let them have it. And these 600 people were almost all black. And they were chanting, "You work for us. You work for us." What people don't know is the room was full. It was at fire code. And outside, there was another 1,000 people or more, mostly black. And they showed up to rip the ass of their Democrat leaders in Chicago that have done what? This is not their response to the black-on-black crime or to gun control or the murders or the safety in Chicago. No. These Democrats are really pissed off that illegals are overrunning their neighborhoods. That when they get to Chicago, they have a cell phone in their hand. They've been bussed, flown, given meals, clothed, they hand out these little knapsacks to them of things that they need when they get here. Then they take them to they go to cities. The cities put them in hotels and pay for it. And you can't keep doing this. Okay, it's one thing do people watch the news? Do people read about what's going on? It's another for people to see what's happening on their street. And in traditionally black neighborhoods in major cities all across America, they're increasingly filled with Latino illegals. And how do you think that goes over in the black community? Because the black community is no different than anyone else. I've said this. This is not a knock. This is a compliment. This is the human condition. People like being around like-minded people. Now, we'd love for that to get past skin color or gender or sexual preference or those things. That's fine. We want to get past that. For me, the things that are important to me, you hear about them every day on this podcast. You know what's important to me. I hang out and choose to be with people who believe the same things I believe. That's it. That's where I want to live. I want to live around people like that have the same values and principles. If we go out to dinner, I want to know that they're going to treat the waiter with respect. They're going to leave a nice tip. We're going to have a pleasant evening. We're not going to pick a fight. We're not getting into it with it. We're good people. We know how we want to live. Okay, that's what we like to play golf. We like the same kind of music. That's comfortable. That's what people naturally do. So for whatever we say about big cities and I don't even know what black community means, but the inner cities of our big cities in this country are mostly black. And there's a lot of poverty. And there's a lot of crime. And the Democrats, I believe, are responsible for the number of people that haven't gotten out of that and found a better way to live. But there's also something cultural. The cultural thing is, in the black community, in the city, it's what they grow up with, it's what they know how to live, and they like being around people that live that way. They may like going to church together. They may like living on a certain street. They may play basketball in the same park. They may have the things. I'm not being stereotypical here. I'm just telling you how things are. They like being around other like-minded people. These are, despite the fact that there are problems in the black community and the schools aren't very good, these are tight communities of people that are like-minded. They believe the same things. They live mostly the same way. And when they have a problem in their own community, they want to try to deal with that however they deal with it. When they see black-on-black crime or problem with murder rates, or they together get mad at the police for brutality or whatever, they're like-minded. Let's remember this. They're like-minded on those issues. They believe they can fix their crime problem and the people in their neighborhood, and they develop these neighborhood watches, and they do things, and they try as a community. They are a community, and they are largely a happy community. So bad things happen in my community too. I got way too many signs in my neighborhood or around my neighborhood right now for a guy running for city council that's a flaming liberal. His logo, I'm not even going to give you his name. His last name has an O in it, and it's the Obama logo in his name. I'm like, oh my God, this guy wants to take over my ward in Lenexa? Okay, so I feel threatened when I see that. I don't want that to happen in my ward. I need Mark Charlton to win, okay? And we're going to be doing some work for him over the next few weeks. If you live in Lenexa, Ward 2, Mark Charlton. And Joe Carlin for mayor, for crying out loud. There's a wacky lady. She won't even put her last name on the sign. It just says Julie, running for mayor of Lenexa. Julie. Because why would you do that? Well, because she don't want anybody to know what she is. She's a wackazoid. She's a left-wing wacko. We've had a great mayor for 20 years, and he's retiring. Bame's just been awesome in Lenexa. And now this wackazoid's coming in, and you know what she's all about, right? She's going to want to do all kinds of crazy leftist crap in Lenexa. She won't even put her last name on the sign, or it's so small you can't see it. It just says Julie, and it's light blue, and it feels good, and ooh, let's vote for the girl. It's just pathetic. Carlin's our guy. He's got to be the mayor. Charlton's got to be my council member. That's it. This other dude with the Obama logo on his deal, there's too many signs in the neighborhood. It's got to go. So I feel threatened when I see that in my neighborhood. Okay? In black America, in the cities, they are seeing the illegals in their neighborhood. On the streets, camped out, getting bus rides, being put into a hotel, given free stuff, being treated better, in their opinion, than they've ever been treated by the government. That's powerful. 600 people show up in Chicago. They chant, "You work for us." They want the illegals out. They don't like it. There's another 1,000 people outside. And of course, Joe Biden is reacting now to what's going on in the cities. The mayors hate it. The liberal mayors hate this. The liberal governors hate this. Joe Biden reacts. Why? This move at its core, I promise you, this calculated move above our safety or terrorism or people are getting in or long-term votes, this move is about the black vote in America. They're the people seeing it, and they're the people pissed off. For whatever reason, I had a discussion with my brother-in-law. He and my sister live in Paola, a wonderful community. And it's an American throwback community. It's old school as old school gets, as conservative as the day is long. I said, it's amazing. These illegals come up I-35, and there's some are stopping in Kansas City, of course, but not like other cities. It's like they're vacationers. They want to go to LA, San Francisco, Chicago, New York, DC, Philadelphia. They're looking for the more famous cities in America. That's where they're pouring in, and it's becoming a problem in those cities. It's not that we don't have a problem here. I said, listen, if I got across the border with my wife and I had 2 little kids and I just wanted a better way, Paola would be an awesome place to relocate. They would welcome me. If I got a job, rented a small place, became a member of the community, and started working hard and taking care of my families, they would open their arms and welcome me. But if I rolled into Paola and said, we need help here at the hospital, and you got a hotel room, where's my mayor, city council, where's my free hotel room here in Paola? They'd laugh me out of the place. So these people are all headed to the cities thinking, oh, there's a hotel room for me until I figure out what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going to go. And black voters are seeing this, and they're going, what the hell is happening right here? We're talking about thousands of people on the street. They're seeing it. Folks, everything the Democrats do is about votes. And they're caught between a rock and a hard place here now because their long-term plan was to let all these people in. That's for votes long-term. Now they're stuck in a situation where this has to be about short-term because they're just in a giant jam. It's unbelievable. Joe Biden's it's one bad week after another. I know I spent some time on this on the Patreon podcast yesterday and have mentioned him and his dog Commander and the dog's gone from the White House. It bit at least 12 staffers. It sounds like maybe the dog bit Jill Biden. There's now a video of Joe getting off Marine One when he went to Delaware. Stuff surfaces after other, people find this stuff and archive footage. He kicks his dog. I mean, you can't, I'm a dog person, and not all of you are. You don't kick your dog. Your dog will never be obedient in any way and respectful and loving to others if you kick it. My dog is so wonderful and dumb, he doesn't know humans can kick. He's never seen it. He doesn't know what a kick is. I mean, maybe he's seen me kick a ball. That's possible, I guess. I don't know when we played kickball or soccer or anything like that around him. Maybe. I've accidentally maybe tripped over him. He doesn't know I can kick him. He doesn't even know that. You can't have a loving, respectful, caring dog if you kick your dog. And Biden's pulling this dog as he gets off Marine One and trying to get into the Beast, apparently with his dog, and he's pulling the German Shepherd, and the German Shepherd's having none of it, and he reaches around and kicks him, and he puts his leg around his neck and tries to drag him to the car. I'm like, Biden, you're a piece of crap. As a human being, you suck. I mean, he's a bad person. He's been a liar his whole life. I'll say it, and this is a terrible thing to do. I almost always try not to do this. They've been terrible parents. It's obvious. He can't even have a dog. And he's in charge of our country? Dogs that are out of control are a reflection of chaos in the environment where they live. Period. There are no exceptions. It just depends on what the chaos is. There's a lot of different kinds of chaos, but if a dog is out of control, that dog lives in a chaotic environment. That's the key word, chaos. And that's exactly how you would describe this White House. And I know Trump's been peeling the black vote. There was a time when it was 94%. I think the last election was 87, 88. He's peeling it off. I think it's going to be maybe down around 80 this time. Maybe better. There's a politician in Dallas, the mayor of Dallas. This is fantastic. He has just flipped from Democrat to Republican. The DNC chair has been warning and gave a speech this week about party switching. They're freaked out that so many Democrats are switching to Republican. Says there's, quote, a rash of switchers out there. And pointed to Eric Johnson, the mayor of Dallas, who says, I'm done. And it's funny because they say out of the blue he did this. Yeah, he's out of the blue. And he's into the red. And Mayor Eric Johnson is a terrific young guy, black man, who says what he's hearing is from his black citizens, why are you doing this? And he says, I turn right back to him and say, why are you still a Democrat? And then I explain to them what I'm about. And they go, oh, really? That's another big city. You think there's a bunch of illegals running around Dallas? I do. The mayor doesn't like it. He wants them out of Dallas. So do his voters. Oh, this is a big mistake by the Democrats, allowing all these people in. If there's one thing left that we all have in common in the United States, it's that we don't want all these people here. If you say you do, you're virtue signaling and you haven't thought it through. You haven't thought about your life. You haven't thought about how it affects you. You've just thought, oh, God, I want to help the world. I want to help all the poor people in the world and let them in here because we're so great. That's all. That's all. That's a theory. That's nothing anybody thought through. And the mayor of Dallas says, I'm done with this party. We're cleaning this city up. I'm supporting these cops. We're getting these illegals out of here because my citizens in Dallas proper, Dallas, Texas, the city, my voters deserve better than this. They deserve a police force that can keep us safe, and they deserve these illegals to get the hell out of here. They do not deserve the free stuff. They don't deserve to be here. They're here illegally, and my voters don't like it. And he goes to the black community in Dallas and tells them this, and they go, oh. And he says over and over, what he hears over and over from black residents is they want more police. They want the police to be fair. They don't want them to be racist. They don't want to see unnecessary violence, but they want policing. They like seeing the cars driving up and down the road. They want safe neighborhoods. We all do. There's certain things that we share, regardless of how we grew up, what our skin color is, where we live. We share these principles. We want to live in our own country. If we wanted to live in Venezuela, we would move there. We don't want Venezuela moving in. We accept immigration. We should do it by merit. Bring in good people that can contribute and help. And that's a wide variety of things, from people who may work for $15 an hour to neurosurgeons. Everyone, but find the best and bring them in and make them part of our country. Assimilate them. Pass a test, learn the language, all these things. I think almost all Americans share that, and we've got a dog-kicking president that can't make his own house function properly trying to run this country, and it's hysterical to hear the DNC chair complaining that there's a rash of Democrats switching to Republican, and of course they are. How could they not do that? And keep your eye on this mayor in Dallas because he's an interesting guy, and let's see how that works for him. I don't know when his reelection would be, but let's see if he gets reelected as a Republican in Dallas. It would be very interesting because he will not get reelected without the black vote. He won't. And he says everywhere he goes, they ask, why are you switching? And he says, well, why are you still a Democrat? And he goes, I'm going to get these illegals out of here, and we're going to get the police stronger and make the streets safer. Is that Republican or Democrat? Because Democrats don't believe in that. And he looks them right in the eye and says, Democrats don't believe in that, so I'm leaving them because I believe in those two things right here in Dallas. That's going over very, very well. KKHI is brought to you by bstock.net. Slasher sale for October. Samsung 65-inch, $349 this month only. You can walk right in there on Saturday. 14680 South Flaming Road. Carry out as many of these as you want. You might be able to resell them online and make a profit on all of them. They're so cheap. 65-inch TU7000 Samsung, $349. Acer Chromebook computers, $79. Buy them all. Have your own eBay store. I tell my sister about this. She loves doing stuff like this. Buy them for $79 and put them online for $179. Or if you buy one of these $349 TVs, you get the Acer Chromebook for $49. This is crazy. It's at bstock.net, 14680 South Flaming Road. MyPillow.com. I got an email from MyPillow this week. Their marketing director says, you may or may not have seen that Mike Lindell is under duress here. American Express has taken his credit away. The company is functioning without a line of credit right now, and they've slashed prices, and they're, look, I'm not going to say they're begging for sales. They just want us all to say, if you're ever going to buy anything from MyPillow and support Mike Lindell and his company, now is the time. They could really use the revenue right now. And if you go directly to my landing page, which is mypillow.com/KKHI, they have all kinds of special deals there that will pop up. mypillow.com/KKHI. It's across all product lines. Things as low as $9 all the way up to mattress toppers and things of that nature. But it is a massive sale right now at mypillow.com/KKHI. That's mypillow.com/KKHI. Save big. And I like Mike Lindell. I think a guy that sticks it out there like he has, he made mistakes? Of course he has. And his book is amazing. What he went through in his life and the mistakes he made early and what he turned into a great company is remarkable. But he loves his country, and he is deeply conservative, and he's a great Christian. And if he's made mistakes by wearing that on his sleeve, that's a shame that would happen to him in this country, but it has. It's a great company to support. mypillow.com/KKHI. Earth Effects Outdoor is online at eeoutdoor.com. This can be your new landscaping company. If you'd like to build an outdoor kitchen, fire pits, hardscapes, lighting, patios, berms, trees, ponds, retaining walls, drainage. He does all kinds of big jobs, and they'll do small jobs. You just got a spot in your yard where you want a tree planted, they'll just come plant a tree for you. Earth Effects Outdoor is online at eeoutdoor.com. Your new lawn and landscape company is eeoutdoor.com. 816-478-7700. That's 816-478-7700. Online at eeoutdoor.com. Donald Trump says that he will be Speaker of the House, but if he does it, it would only be temporarily. This is a great idea. 30, 60, or 90 days, and he has thrown a full endorsement behind Jim Jordan. Look, this is easy at this point. It's Donald Trump's party. I can sit here and haggle and take a look at this and go through all that. If Trump says it, let's just freaking do it. Let the man lead the party. Okay? Let the man lead the party. Y'all can't get along on the House of Representatives floor. Okay? We got a stupid primary thing going on between a bunch of Republicans that have no chance. This is Trump's party. Follow the man. Listen to what he says. Let's do this. Trump, take the job for 30 or 60 days until we make sure we have the votes to put Jim Jordan in. Liz Cheney and this Kinzinger guy are both saying they oppose Jim Jordan and won't vote for him. I'm like, I didn't even know Cheney and Kinzinger were still there. They're Democrats. Why don't they switch parties? Can they just switch and get out of our party? Let's kick those two votes out, throw them to the other side, and that's that. These people are crazy. All right? So if everybody else is on board, we're okay. Those two can leave. But everybody else got to be on board. This is the time to listen to Donald Trump. Let him take the job. 30 days. Just name it for 30 days. Trump's going to come in and take this thing over for 30 days starting next week. Put his hand on the Bible, be done with it. Behind the scenes, work all your deals that you got to have and get Jim Jordan the votes. Whatever Jim Jordan's got to do to convince some of these other rhinos that he's the guy, promise it. Give it. Let Trump help negotiate it. Take a month, but have a speaker. And keep the business moving. I love that plan. You know I love that plan. Oh my God, the Democrats. Can you imagine? Well, you're never going to get Kinzinger or Cheney for Trump or for Jordan. So those are gone. This is so tight. This is going to be so tight and so difficult. And I just think that's stupid. It just shouldn't be that hard. Our laugh of the week, because we all need a laugh, is from Vladimir Putin, who says, remember the Wagner private military group, this Prigozhin, his plane exploded and they'd all died? Remember that? That story just went away. And, of course, everybody thinks it was a Russian missile that did it. We all believe that. Planes don't just explode in midair. Putin is now commenting. He says the cocaine-fueled warlords that worked for Prigozhin and Wagner liked to play with hand grenades. And he believes they were flying high on coke, messing with hand grenades, and blew up their own plane. Do people in Russia believe this stuff? Well, of course they do, because people in America believe some of the stuff the Dems say. The plane exploded. This is a private security and military group on a private plane with their leader, cocaine-fueled party on the airplane playing with hand grenades. Okay. Our comment of the week is more serious, and it's to the point. It's the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Rishi Sunak, who was giving a speech and said, this is stupid. We're done with this discussion in the United Kingdom. A man is a man, a woman is a woman, and anybody bullying you, telling you you can be something else is wrong. A man is a man, a woman is a woman. Thank God the United Kingdom is now more conservative than us. Crazy. Spotify made an announcement this week. They have announced that their number one podcast is New Heights with the Kelce brothers. It has passed Joe Rogan, and Spotify adds to that New Heights is the number one podcast in the world. Keep in mind, Joe Rogan got a $200 million deal for his podcast. Travis Kelce is going to be a rich man after football. There is no question about it. Media will be clamoring for him, whether he decides to start his own venture and keep the podcast going like Pat McAfee has, or do something different. We don't know yet. That's probably 3 years away. But congratulations to the Kelce brothers. I'm jealous. The number one podcast in the world. How great is that? Congratulations. Cool stuff. And the Chiefs are playing the Vikings this weekend. Lee Sterling's going to join us here in just a moment. We'll go over all the games, including Mizzou. Big game for Mizzou and LSU. K-State on the road Friday night at Oklahoma State, and Kansas taking on UCF. The Chiefs are playing the Vikings. Did you know the Vikings are the only team Patrick Mahomes has not played against? He can't play against the Chiefs because he plays for the Chiefs, but he's played against the other 30 teams. He has not played against the Vikings. In 2019, the Chiefs won 26-23 over the Vikings at Arrowhead. The happy couple that's getting married 2 weeks from today, Spencer and Courtney, were at that game with us at Arrowhead Stadium. Matt Moore was the quarterback for the Chiefs. She was very excited. She's a Vikings fan. Her parents were originally from Minneapolis. She was born in Phoenix, but her parents moved there from Minneapolis, and she grew up a Vikings fan in Phoenix and had never seen them play until 2019 at Arrowhead, and then didn't get to see Mahomes. This is the first time Patrick Mahomes has played against the Minnesota Vikings. That is absolutely remarkable. I'll take the Chiefs, I guess, but I don't like this game. I don't like this game at all because there's no way the Vikings can keep playing this bad. They're a better football team than their record. They've been turning it over a lot, and there is no way they can keep turning it over the way that they have. So I'll cross my fingers on this one and say the Chiefs by 31-30. That's a last-second field goal if that happens. That means they're down 30-28. All right, Lee Sterling's coming right up, brought to you by Finch Knife Company, online at finchknifeco.com. Keep life from getting dull with a Finch pocket knife. North Kansas City Dental, Dr. Bill Bush is your new dentist. Call 816-471-2911 to switch to the award-winning dentist, great conservative, and the dentist of the Chiefs, Dr. Bill Bush, online at nkcdental.com. And our friends at the Bluemont Hotel and Colbert Hills Golf Course would love to have you out this fall to play the number one course in Kansas and Manhattan's number one hotel. $110 to stay and play per person, as many as you like. You got to call Zoe at the Bluemont Hotel, 785-473-7091. She sets the whole thing up for you. Log on to Blue. If you can't write the number down right now, just log on to BluemontHotel.com and call the number and ask for Zoe. Anybody can remember that name. It's Zoe. And now it's time for Lee Sterling with those picks on KKHI.
The KK Has Issues conversation is presented by Roberts Robinson Chevrolet Buick GMC. Shop, click, drive at robertsrobinson.com.
You know, it's my favorite time of the week. We get to talk to my good friend Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. We're going to talk a lot of football, a lot of cool guy stuff. Sorry, ladies. I know we got a lot of ladies in the audience. But you know what? If you're anything like the ladies in my life, they are addicted to their betting apps. It may just be a $5 play, but Jessica and two of her closest friends are absolutely locked into their phone. She's traveling this week, Lee. You're going to love this. Jessica is. She's going to California, college girls reunion. They've rented a house in Malibu. Right. They're going to spend 3 nights out there. She's putting in all her bets before she goes. This is unbelievable what's happened.
Wow. She is all in. Love it.
And she's taking the late flight home Sunday night so she can stay there and watch the Chiefs game with her friends.
It's addictive. I mean, I've got my 2 daughters in on it. So they did so poorly the last 2 years. They had their boyfriends helping them out, and they were so upset with their boyfriends' picks. One's a big Chargers fan, and we know how the Chargers have done. And then the other's a Jets fan. It's even worse. So they teamed up together. They sent both boyfriends. They're together now, and both my daughters are together. And, of course, even though I won it last year, I'm 2-2. They're 3-1 this year. So they are into it. Well, my daughter, I was up there a couple weeks ago to see her show in New York City. She lost. When she found out she lost, when she got out of that show, let me tell you something. she was one kind of pissed off.
Well, here's what's happened with me is I use the app. We went through a man for many years. A buddy of mine knew a guy, and we did it, and he had some pretty high minimums. And, we had some times where we were kind of uncomfortable when we lost, And this app now, it's like the easiest thing in the world for me to bet $20 on a football game and watch it and it just doesn't make a difference whether I win or lose, but it gives me something to root for and it's kind of competitive and fun. I'm surprised how many really small bets I'm making. And all of my friends that are on these things, we don't know anybody that's gotten dinged. That's like really gotten in any trouble and went, oh boy, I got to stop or do that. It just hasn't happened. For some reason, it's easier this way. You have to deposit your cash. You kind of look at it like a bank account and you play around with it. I've watched people bet $3 when they have $3.70 left in their account and they win it and they go, great, I can bet $5 on the next one just to try to keep it alive. It's really, I guess it's like Candy Crush or anything else for some people.
It is. And there's a lot of games you would not even normally watch. And all of a sudden you have an interest. So, I think it raises your awareness. You're more into each sport. And also you follow your teams. I mean, I go to like even hockey games. I was at a hockey game last year. This is crazy. And I think it was 4-1, 5 goals, and the total was sitting at 5.5. The other team scored with about 3 or 4 seconds to go on an empty netter. And the crowd went crazy because they all had the over.
Well, Mahomes killed us last week when he slid at the 1 yard line. It was just death. It was death on a plate. We're like, it's 17-0. We're cruising along. All of Kansas City has the bet won. Then, of course, they don't score again forever. And then all he's going to do is walk in and they cover and he slides at the 1. And we're like,
Well, and if you had my service, you were happy because we teased it. I don't like to a lot of times lay that kind of wood, on the road. Hey, when it was 17-0, it looked like they were going to cruise.
Yeah.
But, you played sports before. I played sports before. Sometimes you're up and the other team just starts getting going and they were able to, make it a whale of a game. Give them credit. But, I just felt the smart way was to tease that game, and we teased it with another game, actually with the Chargers, and one would have been a tie, and one would have been a loss. Instead, we turned a tie and a loss into a nice big win.
That's awesome, man. That Jets defense is legit. I know that. The Chiefs were not lucky. They were fortunate to score early because they were never going to light the scoreboard up against the Jets. That's a legit defense. All right, Lee Sterling is 34-13-1 right now in football. But it's also Major League Baseball playoffs time. We've got the division series starting on Saturday, and he's got a very low price special for the entire Major League Baseball postseason if you'd like it. And don't forget, every week he does UFC as well. You can call the toll-free number. You can log on to ParamountSports.com. It's 800-400-9741. But before we talk about Locktober and what you're doing in football, briefly tell us how it goes with Major League Baseball and UFC if people want to jump in on that.
Well, the UFC has been incredible. We won 7 of the last 8 cards that we've had in UFC. And baseball, 42-20 in September. They want to get the rest of the Major League Baseball playoffs. We lowered it just $97. Or if you want to try UFC, starts at 3 o'clock your time on Saturday, just $35 for 5 selections.
That's awesome. ParamountSports.com or 800-400-9741. Locktober is up and running, and you're hot. What is the rest of Locktober for everyone if they want to jump on board?
So, it's going to be $297, and it covers 4 weeks. So, last 4 weeks in football were incredible. 34-13-1. You get 4 weeks through Halloween night. Use coupon code SAVE100, just $297. So, if you want to do the season, $797. If you don't want to have to every single month do it and sign up, $797. We lowered that for the season. So, and how about this? Hockey starts in 5 days. How about that? We had a great season last year. Made almost 450 units in hockey, and basketball starts October 15th.
Beautiful stuff. Okay, in these parts, Lee, for the Missouri Tigers, this is their biggest week of athletics in years and years and years. They are 5-0. Their quarterback is on fire. They have a receiver that would look good in a Chiefs uniform. LSU's defense is pathetic. They're coming to Columbia, and these folks are starting to feel like they got something really good going on at Ole Mizzou. LSU is favored by 6.5. What do you think?
What's crazy is all off season, everyone's talking about this LSU defensive line. Well, I know their backside has not been great. The DBs, they've had some injuries there. But if your defensive line's that good, you're going to get to the quarterback. You're going to stuff the run. The DBs have nothing to do with it, and you're going to put pressure on the quarterback. So this great defensive line gave up 45 to Florida State, gave up 55 to Ole Miss here. This Missouri offense here, offensive line, I like the way they go about their business here, and I think they're going to be able to run some, and I like the fact that Eli Drinkwitz is starting to push the ball down the field. And you know, last year they just did not have that capability, not at all. Now I think they've developed a couple guys. Luther Burden is their home run hitter, and then also Theo Weiss. Theo Weiss, he's the kid from Oklahoma. He has really come on. So they have a nice 1-2 punch there. I think the wrong team's favored here. I think Missouri knocks off LSU 30-27.
I couldn't agree with you more. I don't know how LSU is going to stop Missouri. Their defense is just so bad right now. OU
and the defense is good enough. The defense is good enough for Missouri.
You know what? Their parts
hold them down.
Their parts of their defense are better than what they've actually been. I think they have their room to grow as a defensive team. We'll see. And I think it may be now that this East Division is tougher than the other. And so Missouri's got a lot of work to do. Obviously, there's some great teams in there. It's going to be a murderous schedule for them. But, wow, beat LSU, get to 6-0. That'd be unbelievable in Columbia on Saturday.
Yeah.
All right, OU and Texas. I don't understand. Well, I do understand this line because this is a weird game every year. You have to. We've had years where Oklahoma looked like they were so much better than Texas, and we'd say, how are they only a 6.5 point favorite or something, and then somehow Texas would win the game. Weird things happen in this game, but Texas is a 6.5 point favorite. What do you think?
It's been an underdog series over the long haul. If you look at that, and kind of the last 10 games will kind of tell you that Oklahoma's won 7 of the last 10, but Texas has covered 7 of the last 10. Now, I think we know a little bit more about Texas. This is a game I'm personally not betting, but you got to make a play on the biggest game in college football. By playing Alabama, I think we know more about them here. Oklahoma's defense looks like they're better. I'm just not so sure how good they are. They gave up 30 points per game last year. Not that many new pieces, and they faced a bunch of quarterbacks that are kind of lower level, tough, have trouble reading defenses or don't have enough experience in their offensive system. I think Texas pulls away late with a late touchdown, wins and covers 34-24.
I won't argue with that in any way. I like Texas in this game too, but I'll say this about Texas. If this isn't the year that they win easily, I don't know when they're ever going to beat Oklahoma easily.
Right.
Because they just should. That offensive line is ridiculous at Texas.
I can tell you the keys to the game. The key to the game is go to Fletcher's Corny Dog before the game, get a couple corn dogs and a beer before you get in the stadium. That's the winner.
And then you're good to go. All right, Kansas State's on the road Friday night at Oklahoma State. It's not a place Kansas State has a lot of success in Stillwater. They're a double-digit favorite in this game. What do you think?
Yeah. So I think this is the worst Oklahoma State team I've seen in at least a decade, maybe 15, 20 years. So they're going to go with Alan Bowman at quarterback, and probably the right decision, but it's not like he's great. And the defense, they got a first-year defensive coordinator from Division II in charge after their veteran defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, left for Ohio State here. I just, unless Kansas State turns the ball over 2 or more times, I think they're the right side here. So usually Oklahoma State is money as a home dog. Last 7 years, 7-3 against the spread, but there's just not many guys on their team. You're like, wow. Used to be they had some standouts at running back, receiver, defensive backfield, linebacker position, and they held their own in the offensive and defensive line. There's no guys that I want or I think are going to be playing at the next level that stick out here. I like Kansas State 35-17.
All right, we're not skipping KU and UCF. That's Lee's play of the week here, so we'll do that at the end. Let's switch to the NFL and talk about the game everybody's talking about, and that is the Niners in Dallas. Somebody's going to get a loss here. The Niners have just looked incredible, and Dallas in 3 of their 4 games has maybe looked like the best team in football, but there is that weird game they played against the Cardinals. The Niners are a 3-point favorite over the Cowboys.
So San Francisco, a lot of people don't realize this. They've won 14 straight regular season games. And in Levi Stadium, won 15 of the last 17. In fact, 12 of those 15 wins were by 15 points or more. They've also won by at least 14 points in 8 of Brock Purdy's 9 home starts. Christian McCaffrey's incredible. I mean, he scored at least 1 or more touchdowns in 13 straight games. I think he'll keep going on. But the Cowboys, even though they've won a lot of these games big this year, they have major red zone issues here. 7, that's it, just 7 touchdowns and 19 trips inside the 20-yard line here. And they've padded those numbers as far as how far they've won by and the margin of victory from these defensive and special team scores so far this year. I just think the 49ers had the Cowboys number. Each of the last 2 years, they knocked them out of the playoffs, 19-12 and 23-17. I'm not going to bucket San Francisco, 28-17.
28. So, you got the Niners scoring 4 touchdowns against that Dallas defense. Yep. The Chiefs are a 4-point favorite against Minnesota. I've described this game this way. All right, this isn't going and playing the Jets. Kirk Cousins isn't a Super Bowl quarterback, but this team is capable of beating the Chiefs, and they beat almost everybody they played last year when they didn't turn it over. The Vikings are 1-3 because they can't hang on to the ball. If this is the week they don't turn it over, the Chiefs are in for a dogfight, but they're a 4-point favorite. Who wins?
It's a big if, Kevin.
Yep,
with
I know.
Minnesota.
I know.
Now, last year, they won all the close games. 11 games
and they're
decided by
and they're losing them all this year.
8 points or less. And this year, they've lost everyone except for the last one. So I just think that they were helped last week. They got that fumble scoop in return for a touchdown, or else Kirk Cousins was not going to drive down and tie the score. Now, once they tied it, they got good field position, threw a second touchdown of the game to Justin Jefferson, who is undoubtedly the best receiver in the NFL. But I think Kansas City has the DBs who can limit him. Are you going to hold him under 100 yards? Probably not. But you hold him under 120, 130, I think you're going to be successful. They have no running game at all. In Minnesota, they continue to blitz at a very high rate. And we know Patrick Mahomes eats up defenses that come after him early and often. I just thought last week in that game, they're up 17-0. They relaxed. Sometimes, from situations like that, you learn. I like Kansas City, 32-21.
All right, we'll take that for sure. Everybody in Kansas City will gladly take that because most people just bet on the Chiefs for fun every week anyway. They don't want to root against them. But
good game to tease, too, sitting at 5.5.
Yeah,
all they got to do is win the game.
Yeah, yep. There is no chance the Vikings turn it over at this rate all season. That's impossible.
No.
Nobody could ever turn it over that much. So it's going to change at some point. They're actually going to take care of the football. We'll see if that happens this week. All right, the free play of the week is the call to Lee Sterling. First 10 people, 800-400-9741. You get this one absolutely free. It's KU and UCF, where it looks like Jason Bean will likely be playing for Kansas because Jalen Daniels hasn't practiced this week.
Yep. And it looks like there's a good chance that John Rice Plumlee will not play also. So you got to know the backup quarterbacks, and that's what I do. I study the second and even the third string quarterbacks. You want to get Kansas and UCF for free. Be one of the first 10 callers. Call 800-400-9741. First 10 callers, I'm going to give them Kansas and UCF for free. Call that number, 800-400-9741. And like I said, September, 34-13-1. For the season, since the start of August in football, 40-18-1. No one can touch our record. If you want to come on board, just one place, ParamountSports.com, Locktober. That's right, 4 weeks of action through Halloween night, just $297. Use coupon code SAVE100. UFC, 5 selections, $35. Rest of baseball playoffs, just $97. Love to have you aboard for the ride. It's been fun. ParamountSports.com.
Lee, you're awesome. Let's have another winning week, buddy. Thank you for your time.
Sounds good, Kevin. Take care.
All right, Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Give him a call and get that KU game right now, 800-400-9741. He's on quite a roll, folks. 34-13-1. Overall, 40-18-1. So now's the time for October. And don't go to sleep on baseball. You want to do some baseball? He's got the rest of the season pretty cheap, under $100. If you want to get all the plays through the World Series, you want to bet on some baseball games, have a little fun, give Lee Sterling a holler. So, in recap, he's got the Missouri Tigers winning outright against LSU. Wrong team favorite. I could not agree more. Texas beating Oklahoma by 10. That covers the 6.5. K-State rolling Oklahoma State. Take the Wildcats -11. The Niners hold off the Dallas Cowboys and cover the number of 3. The Chiefs all day against Minnesota. Take the -4. And his play of the week is Kansas UCF. Call him for that at 800-400-9741. Lee Sterling's appearance this week on KKHI is brought to you by Buck Disposal, online at buckdisposal.com, 913-242-7695. Ideal Health KC, regenerative medicine, that can help you feel better. Located in Shawnee, Dr. Kip Van Camp would love to consult with you and see if his way of making you healthy is better than a bunch of pills and shots and pharmaceuticals. 913-745-5300 for idealhealthkc.com. And Back 9 Development, Kansas City's custom home builder, or if you live in Lawrence, Topeka, Manhattan, they build there as well. TJ Vilkanskas can be reached pretty much anytime at 785-236-0161. You want to see the beautiful work he does? Check out his website, back9development.com. Here's hoping you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and everything goes your way. I'm a bachelor for 3 nights. Don't know what to do. Going to watch a little football, I guess. Maybe check in with some friends, see what's going on, and take care of my little puppy. You guys have a great weekend. As always, I can't thank you enough for listening to Kevin Keatsman Has Issues.
Thanks for listening to Kevin Keatsman Has Issues, presented by Roberts Robinson Chevrolet Buick GMC. To get exclusive patrons-only podcasts, receive a weekly newsletter, and attend in-person patrons-only parties, visit kkhasissues.com and become a patron today. This has been a production of Crooked Tail Media Incorporated.